My parents were killed by a drunk driver. But my wife not only stopped me from reporting it to the police, she also locked me in a dark basement. All because the culprit was her childhood sweetheart. I already told you. He's not the killer. You can come out once you've figured it out. In the days that followed, I endured all kinds of torment. Until 3 years later, when I could no longer bear it and had to beg her for mercy. I don't hate him anymore. I don't hate him. In the damp, pitch-black basement, I sat in a corner, dragging a crippled leg. Footsteps sounded at the door, and I instinctively shrank further inside. Sir, President Liu sent me to fetch you. I looked up at the approaching figure. It was Liu Ryan's longtime hired bodyguard. I responded weakly, struggling to stand. Limping toward him, the bodyguard was visibly shocked. Sir, what happened to your leg? Probably a fracture. The bodyguard seemed surprised, staring at me wide-eyed. Why didn't you tell President Liu? I gave a bitter smile but didn't answer. What's there to say? Even if I had, would Liu Ryan have let me out for treatment, or would she have called a doctor for me? With the bodyguard's support, I hobbled out of the basement. Liu Ryan and Lin Shengyang were already waiting outside. Ryan, I told you, he definitely played the victim to guilt-trip you. Look, it's just a short walk, yet he still has to have someone help him. Liu Ryan glanced at me without a word, but her eyes were full of smug satisfaction. She strode toward me, arms outstretched as she got close, but I flinched violently, ducking down to avoid her embrace. Don't hit me. Please, I was wrong. I swear I was wrong. Liu Ryan's arms remained frozen, in the air, her face a mask of disbelief. What's going on? She demanded of the bodyguard beside me. The bodyguard, too, was startled by my reaction. Just as he gathered his wits to answer, Lin Shengyang suddenly cried out, Ryan. Liu Ryan instinctively turned to look, and the bodyguard's words died in his throat. Chen Xiaofan, you can't possibly resent Ryan for locking you up to reflect, so you're putting on this act to make her feel guilty, right? Enough with the act. Since you've admitted your mistake, Ryan and I won't hold your false accusations against me. He emphasized false accusations heavily. At those words, my trembling stopped instantly. See? I was right, Ryan. I didn't argue, still crouched on the ground. Then Liu Ryan's voice turned icy. Chen Xiaofan, she said coolly from above me. Have 3 years of reflection not been enough for you? All right, Ryan, don't be angry. We have that meeting with Chairman Chen soon. Let's go. I remained crouched, unmoving. Liu Ryan glared at me in frustration. Chen Xiaofan, you really are pathetic. Look at Shengyang, then look at yourself. These past 3 years, if it weren't for him staying by my side and helping me, I wouldn't have made it. Look at what you've become. Do you really think you still deserve me? With that, she took Lin Shengyang's arm and walked away without looking back. Lin Shengyang glanced over his shoulder, mouthing a single, silent word at me. Loser. And I could only watch them leave in silence. Sir, what happened to your pinky? I slowly lowered my head, staring at my deformed right hand. After 3 years apart, Liu Ryan had barely glanced at me before leaving. She hadn't even noticed my crippled leg. I laughed mockingly. It's nothing. Just a broken bone that didn't heal right. Let me take you to the hospital. With the bodyguard's help, I stood, my whole body leaning weakly against him. My thoughts drifted back to 3 years ago. Back then, I had found an eyewitness, who confirmed it was Lin Shengyang who drove into my parents, drunk, no less, and fled the scene. Afraid they might survive and hold him accountable, he ran over them repeatedly, but Liu Ryan refused to believe it. Instead, she vouched for him, claiming he had been with her the entire night. She even paid off the witness to change their testimony. In the end, Lin Shengyang walked free, while I was labeled a jealous, love-struck madman. To tie up loose ends, Liu Ryan tricked me into the basement and spent 3 years torturing me. Until the first surrendered, back in the present. The doctor examined my injuries, then frowned at the bodyguard. Are you family? These injuries are old. Why only now? And how did he get all these scars? I shook my head at the bodyguard, signaling silence. I couldn't breathe a word about the basement. Otherwise, Liu Ryan would never tell me where she buried my parents. After leaving the hospital, the bodyguard took me back to the villa. When he opened the door, I clearly saw the passcode he entered. Lin Shengyang's birthday. The interior looked the same as 3 years ago, yet somehow different. Outside what used to be my bedroom were a pair of his and her slippers. Inside, the bed had 2 pillows. The closet held not only her clothes, but also Lin Shengyang's. My heart turned to ash. I walked out of what was no longer my home. Just then, Liu Ryan and Lin Shengyang returned. Seeing me, she paled slightly. When did you get back? I had too much to drink. If Shengyang hadn't brought me home, I wouldn't have escaped those old drunkards. Then her expression shifted to reproach. Xiaofan, all of this should have been your responsibility. If you hadn't gone insane back then, do you know how much I've suffered these years? I stood motionless, listening to her endless complaints, until Lin Shengyang handed her a glass of warm water. Drink some water to soothe your throat. Compared to my wretched state, the gentle Lin Shengyang seemed more like the caring husband. Liu Ryan shot me another glare. Shengyang's been looking for a place. Until he finds one, he'll stay with us. Just as she assumed I'd stay silent, I spoke softly. I know the bedroom is full of his things. Liu Ryan's face froze. Her glass shattered on the floor. You went into my bedroom. Her sudden sternness, her low voice, and the sound of breaking glass instantly brought me back to that dark, moldy basement. Instinctively, I apologized. I'm sorry. Liu Ryan stood stunned. After a few seconds, she slowly approached, frowning. Xiaofan, what's wrong? I was just asking. I stayed silent. Lin Shengyang sneered. Xiaofan, I never thought you'd still hate me so much. After 3 years, are you just putting on an act to manipulate Ryan? Chen Xiaofan, I've told you countless times, I was at a business dinner that night. Sheng Yang was with me. Why won't you believe me? Do you have any idea how much you almost ruined his life because of your murder accusation? He lost his job, and people pointed fingers at him whenever he went out. Do you even realize how much you owe him? You're despicable. My silence finally enraged Liu Ryan. She grabbed another glass and hurled it at me. I didn't dodge. The glass shattered against my forehead. Liu Ryan stared in shock. Why? Why didn't you move? Could I have? Wasn't it you who ordered me not to? If I dodged, you'd feed my parents' bones to the dogs. You always keep your word, don't you? Blood trickled from the cut on my forehead. I blinked dizzily. Liu Ryan rushed forward. Sheng Yang, get the antiseptic and gauze. But Lin Sheng Yang didn't move. Ryan, this is exactly what Xiaofan wanted. Letting you hit him to guilt trip you.